Today's video covers how to enter data into Excel and then import it into SSD4R. So the main idea is that we're going to be saving it as a CSV file. By the way, you could use other applications to accomplish this. For example, Numbers, which is an application developed by Apple, would work perfectly fine. Microsoft Access would also work. But Excel seems to be very commonly used, so we're using this as an example. So as most spreadsheets, we have columns and rows, and so the rows will represent a variable, and the columns will represent a variable, and the rows will represent observations. So we'll use the first row and the first two columns to define the variable we want to track. And we're going to call it anger. We're going to be tracking some angry outbursts of a child in school. And so I typed in anger in column A, and now I'm going to type in P anger in column B. And in case I want some comments, I'm going to type in comments in column C. Now, if you wanted to track other behaviors, you could do so. So if I had another variable like crying, I could use column D to track that behavior. But every behavior must have a phase variable attached to it. So that's why I have anger and P anger. So now that we have that set up, we can begin entering in our data. Let's begin by typing in some numbers. And we're going to use an A-B design, and we're going to have 10 baseline observations and 10 intervention observations. Okay, so, and we're tracking on a daily basis. And as you can see, it's typing in the numbers. And now I'm going to type in NA in 12, row 12. That denotes the beginning of a new phase. So for the baseline, the numbers I have are 5, 6, 8, 5, 4, 3, 3, 6, 7, 6. And then NA to denote that we're starting a new phase. So the intervention phase. So 4, and then 3, then 2, and then 1, and then 2, and 1, and 1, and 0, and 0. Okay, so now we have our data, that is our counts of angry outbursts. So now we need to define the phases. So why don't you turn on the cap lock so it'll make it a lot easier. And I'm going to be typing in A's for the baseline. And now NA, now that I finished all the baseline A's, and now B's for the intervention. Now if you had some little bit of a change in the intervention, you could have a B1 phase, or a brand new intervention using a C to represent it, so that any format, any design can be entered and run in SSD4R. So now I created that comment field, and so there was this day where there were 8 angry outbursts. So maybe something odd happened that day, and maybe the child went home sick. Remember to turn off your cap locks, and you can just type in "went home sick." Okay, now you're done, and now you have to save it. So click on File and Save As, and where you have the choice of formats to save your file. Click the arrow and select Windows, separated CSV, and I'm going to save it in a directory called SSD data, and I'm going to call it anger, and now I'm going to click on save, and I'm click on continue. Just ignore that message. And now I'm going to exit out of Excel. I'm going to quit Excel and click on don't save. You already saved it. And now I'm going to get into SSDforR, clicking on R, and if you want to get the file, you would simply type in get CSV followed by open and close parentheses and enter. Oh, I forgot one thing which is easy to do, and that is we need to acquire the package. So we need to type in require and in parentheses SSD4R, and now we can type get CSV, and I'm going to go into my SSD directory, and here's anger, and I just opened it up. Here it is, and now it's telling us to type attach in the console and press return to begin working with the file. And so I'm going to type in attach SSD. Anytime you get a file, after you get it, you need to type attach SSD. And if you want to list the names, you would type in list names, followed by open, closed parentheses. And it lists the variable names in alphabetical order. If you want to look at them in file order, just type names, and this is an R command, and in parentheses SSD, and now they're in the order you entered them into the spreadsheet. And so now if you wanted to list out the data, let's say you wanted to look at comments, for example, if you just type comments and enter, and you notice it shows you that you typed the comment went home sick, and there was one occurrence of it listed here. Okay, and so now you can, if you wanted to, you could run various commands like AB descript, for example, or AB plot to analyze your data. So let's say you typed in AB descript, you would simply type in anger and comma p anger, and there's your descriptive data, and part of the graph might be cut off, and I'll just scroll it over so you can see that's the graph that you should have on the left side, or I'm sorry, on the right side, and your various descriptives like number of cases, 10 and 9, your mean, your 10% trim mean, median, etc. And if you like, you could do an A-B plot or to graph the data. Okay, well that ends the discussion for today.